Welcome one, welcome all. Another edition of the Josh Potter Show. I'm Josh Potter, if you don't already know. Thank you so much for coming back on this Tuesday. All episodes come out on the YMH YouTube channel every Tuesday, as I hope you know by this point. If you don't, I just let you know. I hope you follow me on Twitter at @J_Potter. You can follow on Instagram as well at Josh_Potter. There you will find some details on my one show scheduled for 2021 so far. That's right, nature is healing. People are getting vaccinated. We're going to talk about it a little bit later on. OJ got vaccinated. Good to know the important people are getting it right away. The frontline workers, the elderly, OJ, all the right people. But nevertheless, I'm going to be down in Florida, West Palm Beach Improv, come March 21st. Pleased to be buying the tickets. Again, on my Twitter at J_Potter, on Instagram at Josh_Potter, or you can just go to the West Palm Beach Improv website and purchase them there as well. We have merch up at the store. Do you know about the merch? Oh my goodness. The Buffalo Roach shirt up at store.ymhstudios.com has sold out, but I understand we are going to be restocking it. So look for that if you can. Also, of course, we have the Buffalo Roach hat. We have the merch of, our boy Sussel. Mr. Unlimited up in there. So make sure you go check all of that out, again, at store.ymhstudios.com. And, of course, Two Bears, One Sap is going to be happening live during the large match. I don't even think we could say big game anymore. That's how R-worded the Super Bowl is. But nevertheless, it's going down on February 7th at 3 p.m. Pacific time. So you can get right in. I mean, that's right before the kickoff and everything like that. So get in. A nice companion show, Two Bears, One Sap. Hoping to contribute to that as well. So you might see this nice boy here in the nice boy clock on that show. I'm going to talk a lot. We have so many. I don't know if I can say this in the nice boy clock, but we have so many cues of the week. Can we say cue in the nice boy, do you think, Enny?
Oh, cue. Yeah, we could say that passes YouTube's algorithm.
Because that's like fart, but it's queef. It's a front fart out the front.
Absolutely, it's natural.
It's a flatulence of the no place for a lady.
It's something nobody should be ashamed of. Exactly.
So we have so many people that could have been this week's queef of the week. And I'm not even going to start off with the queef of the week. I'm going to give you one of the runners up. And that is the app Robinhood and every one of the hedge fund bankers. As we know, last week, it was the talk of the world, how people on Reddit manipulated the stock market the way that hedge fund managers do. And the hedge fund managers didn't like it. So Robinhood shut itself down. I bought, before it shut down, I managed to buy a couple shares of AMC, and I bought some shares of Nokia, and my BlackBerry shares were rejected. So that one didn't get in time before they shut it all down. And then there's this, the Doge coin. Is that what it's called, Enny?
Yeah, it's the Doge or Dogecoin. That's that
Doge
one.
Yeah. I bought some of that. I bought like 7. It turns out to be like 7 cents. I'm just doing it for the fun. I just want to play with you guys. You know what I mean? Like, let's eat the rich and all that kind of crap. So I'm excited about it.
What did you buy AMC at? Do you remember?
I think I bought it at $7.
Ooh, you're almost double right now.
I know. But it's going down. I don't really know. I'm holding the line. I don't care if I lose all the money. I mean, I didn't put that much into it. So it's just for the fun and to stick it to the man, like so many have done so far. But when you're watching this, we're recording this on Friday. It could be, by this point, the Reddit people, Occupy Wall Street types could just have stormed the Capitol, and I don't even know. So we could have our entire world economy flipped upside down by this point that you're viewing this. But I'm having fun with it here on Friday, at the very least. So I hope you're having fun with it as well. And I'm sad that Nadav isn't here again, our resident banker, if you will. That's my new one, my new word. That's what I just thought of it the other day. I was like, what if we just, because they always say, they're like, they run the weather, they run the banks. What if we just started going like he's a real banker? If you catch what I'm saying. Guy's a real banker, you know what I mean? But we have what many people say is little Nadav here, Mr. Zolo. Do you do the stock market, Zolo, the way Nadav does it?
No, not the way Nadav does it, but I've dabbled here and there.
Are you excited about GameStop? Did you get in on that?
No, I've kind of been living vicariously through Nadav through this whole thing.
Again, that's why I wish he was here, because he could have educated us, I'd imagine. He's been monitoring it. Maybe that's why he's not here today. He's like a stockbroker in 1929. Like when Robinhood shut down, he threw himself off a building. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what's going on. But this has caused so much wild stuff going on in the press, and it's actually going to point to a bigger problem, I think, that has been just an umbrella of problems for us in this country for many a year. And I'll get to it as I read you the story here. There was a story in the New York Post of a 22-year-old who, his name is Jack West, I believe, yes. And he is one of the folks that bet it all when it came to GameStop, AMC stocks, these types of things, according to this article. It interviewed him because he took out a second mortgage, apparently, from his parents to invest in these stocks, And then the next day, the 22-year-old nearly lost it all after Robinhood, the trading app meant to democratize finance, halted all the trades. So it became big news when this New York Post came out. Then other publications ran with this story of 22-year-old Jack West risking it all on his parents' mortgage on GameStop because of YOLO. You only live once. That was in the headline. You only live once. And it turns out this is all horse dung. I was going to say, I had to look up and see where we were in the nice boy clock. Turns out it's all malarkey. It's all horsey poo-poo. And this never happened. The man never took out a second mortgage and did all this. He duped a New York Post reporter. And her name is Mary something. Here, let me pull it up. Her name is, as I scroll down, Mary Jacob. And this is the problem, folks, that, when you have Trump going around saying we have fake news and all this other stuff, he's not entirely wrong when he said those things. It's just the matter of fact, it's the same reason why everyone's up in arms about the stock market, because the people who run the stock market are these hedge fund billionaires, and they were like, we're losing money. So they changed the rules and manipulated it so that you and I couldn't follow the same kind of rules that they have and manipulate it in the same ways. So they put their foot down, and now we're just kind of rolling over and taking it. I don't really know how it's going to play out here, but it's the same people who control these media conglomerates. It's billionaires and companies, huge companies, conglomerates that control all these news outlets, and they don't put any money into them. And they hire people out of college who are just trying to start out. They don't have any freaking experience. They kind of, for lack of a better word, are terrible reporters and terrible journalists because they're brand new. I don't know anything about this, Mary Jacob. I don't know if this applies to her. I'm just speaking in an umbrella sense in terms of media. And this woman, all she did was see a guy tweet that he took out a second mortgage on his parents' home to pay for these stocks, and she DM'd him, and that was the story. That's all she needed. She didn't require any other investigation. She didn't look into it in any other way. And so the New York Post, when someone publishes something for the New York Post, other publications are going to pick it up. It's just the nature of the beast. So this guy trolled the entire media and never did it, just simply by tweeting something out there with YOLO on it. So just shoddy journalism, and that's dangerous. That's just as dangerous as the president or former president saying, it's all fake and everything like that. These people doing shoddy work and shoddy journalism is going to have a problem. This is nonsense. And half the people that saw this article probably didn't even read the article. First of all, they just think that this is happening. And then now that it's outed as fake, I guarantee nobody followed up on that one. So she just put up an apology on Twitter, you got me. She made fun of herself and moved on. I don't think that the New York Post is going to fire her, but I think that's an egregious, that is literally what reporting is. I mean, like, could you imagine just completely not doing your job in printing something that goes semi-viral that is completely fabricated and fake, and you just got run through the ringer by a freaking 22-year-old? I mean, good golly. Like, what a dumb lady.
You idiot woman! Idiot woman!
Stupid. But yeah, the same people that are controlling all the hedge funds and making it difficult for you and I to play the same game are the same people that are running these media companies and just trying to make a profit off of them. They do not care about the integrity of the reporting or if it's even accurate. They don't. They just care about the bottom line. How many clicks did it get? How much did you sell? How many copies did you sell? That kind of thing. So another thing that was pretty funny, this fucking jerk off, now that we're out of the nice boy clock, thank the Lord, this guy was definitely going to be Queef of the Week until we got to our actual. And this is another runner-up. His name is Scott Galloway. He's a professor, and he had a theory about why he thinks all this is going on Reddit and why so many people on Reddit are just, wanting to bring the stock market down. He thinks it's about sex. Specifically, young men not having enough sex. Sex leads to relationships, obligations, and guardrails. Don't get in fights. We need you. Don't gamble your paycheck. We need to save it for a house. That type of thing. A bored, angry young man is the most dangerous person in the world. When countries have unemployed young men who are single, the likelihood that country goes to war escalates. We have cut the share of wealth of young people in half in the last 30 years. Arm young men in a basement, not at work, not having sex, not forming connections with an RH account, that means Robinhood, a phone, a stimulus check, and you have the perfect storm of volatility as they wage war against established players while squeezing the DAPA bag harder and harder. I don't see anything wrong with that. I really don't. At the end of the result, I don't see anything wrong with it. If this guy just blames it on incels, that's pretty hilarious to me. Everything can just be blamed on incels. We're just all throwing it to incels. And I feel bad for incels. I'm over here always trying to champion the incel. I'm trying to get them laid, so that they're no longer have that label and they realize that it's not that hard to get pussy. It's just not. I mean, if I'm doing it, shit. I mean, I should just start a TED Talk or something. We could save the world. People would be getting out of their house, but it is a pandemic right now, so it is tough to be out there fucking, Scott Galloway. I'm sorry to tell you, as much as we'd like to, they're making it really hard in the world. Bars aren't open, nightclubs aren't open. Where are you supposed to get some strange, Scott Galloway? Since you're a fucking professor, why don't you tell me that? This guy, by the way, I don't know if we have a picture of him, doesn't look like he's really a big sex haver. I mean, what experience are we speaking from here, Scott Galloway? Yeah, nice. Oh, look at him. I mean, he's not a terrible looking guy. He's one of these guys that probably got rich and yoked later in life, and in his 20s and shit, he was a fucking dork. He probably was an incel, and now he's like trying to, shake that off and be like, no, I fuck, bro. I fuck. That's what that whole tweet said. This whole tweet thread was a brag that says Scott Galloway fucks, and you better recognize. Look at him with this fucking Steve Jobs fucking headset and shit. These fucking guys. When are we going to drag them out of their homes? I don't know. But I don't condone that kind of thing. I'm only speaking hypothetically, of course. Now that we're out of the nice boy clock, we're going to talk about the biggest fucking scumbag maybe in a very long time. And it has to do with our sports, so let's get into the sports. Fuck yeah. That, again, was our sports remix. That one was by Urbanizer. And we're constantly pumping those in, by the way. We're changing them up every week. People ask me, like, did you get mine? Did you get mine? We're getting them all, and we're pumping them through. So please to be continuing to send them to Josh Potter Show at ymhstudios.com. The instrumental we heard earlier, thank you to Arno for that one, by the way. Forgot to mention that. But this brings us now to our
Queef of the Week.
Ooh, a beefy one from Caroline on there. And apparently we have video of that, which we'll get to at the end when we need to cleanse our palate from this fucking dipshit scumbag Seattle Seahawks offensive lineman, or I should say former offensive lineman of the Seattle Seahawks, Chad Wheeler. And that was very funny. I'll get to that in a moment. But what this guy did was not very funny, obviously. He's a fucking scumbag. He was released from King County Jail on Tuesday morning on $400,000 bail bond after he was arrested early this past Saturday morning on suspicion of felony assault, domestic violence, according to online court documents. What he did was he beat the shit out of his girlfriend within an inch of her life because she wouldn't bow to him. Who's bowing to this fucking Sarah Sanders Huckabee looking fucking long-haired dipshit, right? He's not even the best offensive lineman on the fucking Seattle Seahawks, and he's got to get bowed to. Fuck off. I don't know. I mean, this is psychopath shit. So he beats her within an inch of her life. She escapes. She manages to gather herself, get up and run out. And as she's running out of the bedroom and out the door, he's eating dinner after he just did this. And he goes, "Oh, you're still alive." And then he continues to eat. That's fucking psychopath shit. And I don't know how you can play on a team with this guy and not sense something like that, right? If you're playing in the trenches, especially as an offensive lineman, for a certain Mr.
Unlimited.
He never knew? He never saw the signs? I mean, a little sus to me, don't you think? It's just adding up. We're just compiling a case. What do you think, Enny?
I told you, man. We're getting closer and closer to the truth every day.
Every day. It's just something else comes out and it's just
unlimited.
It's unlimited sus. And how did sus not know that this guy was a fucking lunatic? Because that is the kind of character that isn't just something that you kind of hide and then you just do it. I think there has to have been signs in some capacity to be this much of a piece of shit. I remember, this is not new to the NFL. The NFL has had quite a shitty background with domestic violence. That's what happens when you have 53 men on each team, 32 teams. That's a lot of people. And then you have, ancillary players, practice squad players and stuff. So that's a large swath of people. And you're going to get people of all sorts. You're going to get criminals. You're going to get great people. You're going to get leaders of men. You're going to have fucking psychos. We have had Aaron Hernandez, a murderer. We had Ray Rice. Do you guys remember Ray Rice? I'm sure you don't. But I
don't know that name, but
Ray Rice was a running back for the Baltimore Ravens, and he beat the shit out of his girlfriend in an elevator of the Revel Casino in Atlantic City, and it was caught on a camera. And he was arrested, and the NFL suspended him for 4 games. But then, like I said, it was caught on a camera. So when the camera footage came out and they show him clocking his girlfriend and then dragging her out of an elevator like caveman, by her leg, the NFL was like, we're going to have to make it so you never play football again because 4 games seems a little light. So I'd imagine that's probably what's going to happen to Chad Wheeler. Chad Wheeler's contract was not renewed by the Seattle Seahawks. And they made sure to let you know that. When they put out their statement, it was all domestic violence hotlines, blah, blah, blah. But they really made sure the message of the Seattle Seahawks statement was, this dude isn't even employed by us anymore. As of the end of the season, he is not on this team, and we weren't going to re-sign him, and now we are definitely not going to re-sign him. So I'd imagine that he is not going to be welcome back in the league in any capacity, sort of by the way Ray Rice was. And I don't know, when it comes to Ray Rice, obviously he did something heinous and awful, but there should be some road to redemption for someone like that where he was drunk and she was hitting him and stuff. I'm not justifying anything that he did in any way, but there should be some road to redemption, I think. Some sort of way of rehabilitating someone, try and educate him so, we could figure out ways to thwart this. This fucking guy, Chad Wheeler, is straight up a psychopath. I think he is genuinely capable of murder based off of the story of him just beating the fuck out of this girl. And we're not going to show the pictures of the woman because it's just terrible. And then he just goes and sits down and is fucking putting shit in his fat face. Fuck off. I hope he fucking rots in jail, let alone doesn't step on a football field again, What's funny about that Ray Rice thing, though, I'll tell you this, is Revel Casino also has footage of me dragging my girlfriend out of an elevator in it. Yeah, I'll tell you why. I one time performed at the Revel Casino, and I've told this story on a couple other podcasts, but my girlfriend at the time had a broken leg. She like Joe Theismanned her leg. Like it was like a dislocated at the kneecap, basically. And we were going to go on this trip because I had these shows in Atlantic City. We're driving down there, and I get pulled over with a suspended license. So the cop, I beg and plead him in order to not get arrested. All he did was like let my girlfriend drive then. So she finished the way down there. But we hit a toll booth at one point, and it's one of those toll booths where you have to put the change in the basket, toss it in. And she leaned out to throw the change in the basket like a carnival game or whatever, and her leg came detached again. She re-broke her leg. So she's screaming, and my fucking car's drifting into traffic and shit. And I get her in. I finally like get everything. I stop the car. I get her out. I put her in the back seat. Toll booth guy helps me. And, she takes like a Vicodin to calm down or whatever the fuck she had, whatever pills. I throw one in my mouth to calm down, And so we get to the fucking hotel, and we're at the Revel Casino, which is like a city inside of it. And I have to get her up to the room, and she's all like, she's in pain, and we don't have like a wheelchair or crutches or anything. So basically, I'm like carrying her. So I'm in the Revel Casino in the elevator, same elevator. I swear to God, I remember seeing the video going like, I remember that elevator. And I'm holding her on my fucking back like this, and I'm pulling her out of the fucking elevator. And so I want to find that footage. If someone can pull that, I don't think the Revel Casino exists anymore, but I at least have context behind mine. And you don't see me like Ray Rice clock my girlfriend in the face in the fucking video, obviously. But it's still funny that there's a video of me out there doing the same thing, dragging my girlfriend out of the Revel Casino elevators. Enny, you ever have a girlfriend that just fucking in the middle of a date? Like I wasn't even in a date with this girl. I was with my friends. I was out with my boys, and she was supposed to be out with her girls, but Buffalo's so small that like we ran into each other at the same bar. She stumbled out of a bathroom, and her leg just collapsed. I thought she was faking it.
Holy shit. You're asking me if I've ever had...
You ever have just to deal with a girlfriend like that where you have to like take care of them for a second, and then you realize like, I don't love this person.
Have I ever had to take care of a girlfriend before?
Yeah, and that's when you're like, oh wait, I guess I just don't care about this person that much.
And when they just need you a little too much in that moment.
Well, it sucked for this girl because like I don't know what happened. It was such a freak accident, and I was like fucked up. I was drunk. I was out with my friends. I had no intention of running into her that night. I'm very glad that I did, because then I got her like into an ambulance and everything like that. Her friends like abandoned her. But I realized like after the fact, because it was such a scene, and I was so like kind of like, I don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? Like I was so caught off guard by it that like all of a sudden I just go like, I don't even know why I'm doing this. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I was like, I got to get out of this relationship. This is not, I'm like traumatized from it, And it just made me realize I didn't like the girl that much. Like it shouldn't say I didn't like her that much. I wasn't in love. It like made me realize that.
No, I can get that. I was on like a casual date with a girl, and we were with like a bunch of people in Catalina. And when she had like this, I guess she passed out or whatever. She had, I don't know, she was a bunch of oxygen going to her head or something. I don't really know what it was. But when she passed out and the firemen came to take care of her, put her in the truck and all that, I used that as a way to steal the captain's helmet at the time.
Wait, what?
It was like, that's where my mind went, just because I don't think of, when I'm like in physical...
Like, oh, cool, the fireman's helmet. And you just thought, that's hilarious.
Because she passed out and got back up. It wasn't like she was just unconscious. She like passed out and then got back up, and she was flustered, and then people called 911 for some reason. And I was just outside like, this is kind of weird. And when they pulled up, I just noticed that they left the captain's helmet right in the back. I'm like, I'm not gonna not take this. I mean, I'm definitely gonna take this.
It's funny you say that, because we had encountered each other both very intoxicated. So I thought she was just being dramatic and drunk. I was like, your leg's not broken. What are you talking about? But it really was dislocated, and she kept popping it back in. And she couldn't express that to me because she was in such immense pain. And she would just be like laying on the ground and stuff. And I'd be like, come on, get up. You know what I mean? Like a girl. Like, you know, when you're out with a drunk girl and she's like acting a fool and shit. I thought that's what that was. And she's like, my leg. And she couldn't express herself. And I felt terrible after the fact because I called the paramedics and they come and they're like, yeah, her leg's fucking really bad. I'm like, really? You know, like I was like, so she's not fucking around.
You're like, sure she's not lying? She does this a lot.
Because I was about to leave her in the snow. Like I was like, if you're going to sleep out in the snow, fine. Because I'm going inside. I'm done. I can't carry you anymore. And so the paramedics come. They go, you seem intoxicated. You're not allowed to come in the ambulance since you're intoxicated. And I went, thank God. And I shook the paramedic's hand. I go, please tell her that. And then I went to bed. Not quite like, I went to bed kind of like, oh my God, what a fucking wild night. I can't believe that happened. Like, I wasn't like this fucking psycho Chad Wheeler where I'm like, I'm going to go make some stew and fucking eat dinner. You know what I mean? Like, what a fucking piece of shit. Before we leave the sports, though, I want to know this, Enny. We're going to get to your quarterback results here in a second.
After all this time.
Well, that's what happens. We waited for the NFL season to conclude, you see. And as we're approaching the final game of the NFL playoffs, the grand finale, the big game, as they say, 2 Bears, 1 Sap, obviously is going to be the culmination of everything for us here at YMH Studios. But we'll get to your QB results in a second. But I was curious, do you know who Tiger Woods is?
Yeah, I know who Tiger Woods is.
What do you know about Tiger Woods?
I know that he's black and he cheated on his girl. That's about it. And he's good
black
at
and
golf.
he cheated on his girl. Well, I don't know that he would identify as black, and that's actually a very complicated and interesting sort of thing that I'm curious your thoughts on. I am wondering, Enny, would you do a bit of homework? Would you watch the Tiger Woods documentary on HBO?
Yeah. Of course.
All right. There's a 2-part documentary on HBO. I've already watched it myself, and I have many a thought. But I thought, Enny, not knowing, he's black and he cheated on his girl, but you didn't mention golf at all. Did you say golf?
I said that at the end. Like I heard he's good at golf, but
you heard he's just good at golf. Okay, that's wild.
I mean, it's an exaggeration. I get that he was the best, but I don't know anything about his records, what he achieved.
Okay, yeah. That's
that.
not even the records and the things that he's achieved are a microcosm to the way he got there. So I want you to watch all of it. Plus it has dad things in it. It's wild. So I want you to see it and I want your thoughts because then also here's my man Tiger. It actually made me like Tiger Woods more. I'll explain that part of it before you watch it. People have watched it and they think it makes Tiger Woods look bad. That's the criticism of this documentary. Tiger Woods didn't sign off on any of it. It really kind of people say paints him in a bad light. I think it humanizes the guy. And I've never related to Tiger Woods more, frankly. So that's why I want you to watch it, and get your thoughts. And then we'll discuss it next time. But let's get to your results. Let's see what you've selected. We asked Enny at the beginning of the year, who has no knowledge of NFL football, who has no insight as to who the quarterback of any team is. We took 10 quarterbacks, and I said, tell me which ones you think, rank them from 1 to 10, according to how many will have the most passing yards. I used passing yards as the statistic. So I said, who do you think will have the most passing yards? Who do you think will have the least? This is the way that Enny has ranked them. Now let's see how accurate you were. I have the list right here. Let me pull it up. You had Tom Brady at number 1, which was ding, 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 ding. Actually, right on.
Let's go.
4,633 passing yards. At number 2, you had Big Ben Roethlisberger, who I don't know what's going to happen to Big Ben next year. I mean, it's up in the air. I mean, he's got a giant cap hit. He said he'll restructure his deal. He's basically begging to come back because now that there's a couple quarterbacks on the trading block, he's a little nervous. Let's just put it that way. So he's like, I'll restructure my deal. You don't have to pay me $38 million next year. We can do 10, we can do 9, whatever you want. You had him at number 2. That is incorrect. At number 2 was my good boy, my angel, my love, Mr. Josh Allen, who you put in last place, you disrespectful bastard.
I had no idea. I mean, I should have seen the background, but I didn't notice that he was Bills. He just looks, maybe it's just a bad picture. Is that what he always looks like?
That's what he always looks like. And honest to God, dude, he has this air about him that everyone just and this is the first year he's shaken this, but people have always been like, he's a bust. He's a bust. He's going to suck. Like, that's since day one. They're like, he's not going to be good. He's got inaccurate, blah, 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 bust written all over him. And he's proving everybody wrong. And it's as shocking to me as, I mean, I'm not shocked, but I am like pleasantly surprised and happy because that never happens to the Buffalo Bills. So he was number 2. At number 3, you had our boy Sus Wilson.
Old Sussy.
Guess what? Bing, bing, bing. Correct.
Let's go.
4,212 yards. Josh Allen had 4,544. So Sussel right there at number 4. We, of course, know about him. Ben Roethlisberger was number 4. You had Lamar Jackson there. At number 5, you had Joe Burrow. He sank down to number 8 because of his season-ending injury back in the end of November. Then at number 6, you had Fitzpatrick. In actuality, that was Lamar Jackson. Fitzpatrick, of course, benched for Tua midseason, then brought back. Then he had COVID.
Didn't we replace him with like Tua?
Yeah, we were going to do Tua with him. I was going to do a combination, but honestly, them combined even kind of puts them still in the same realm because Tua, not so good, I don't think. I don't know what's going to happen there either. It's going to be a wild offseason. There's rumor that the Miami Dolphins could trade Tua to the Houston Texans with that 3rd overall pick, get Deshaun Watson. I don't know. It's going to be wild. But then Gardner Minshew, you had Baker Mayfield at 7, and Baker Mayfield was actually a little bit higher because he finished the season. He was 5th, ranked right behind Ben Roethlisberger with 3,563. So it gets a little murky down in here. And then you had Gardner Minshew at 8. And Gardner Minshew was, in fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Gardner Minshew was 8th.
Yo.
Dude, nailed another one. And Gardner Minshew got benched. I mean, that was like a lucky sort of perfect storm, if you will. Ryan Fitzpatrick ended up being 9. And then at 10 was Jimmy Garoppolo, who only played like 4 games this season. Poor guy. That guy right there that looks like he's in the
Ross suit.
In the Ross suit, yeah.
So I was only 1 off from him.
You were only 1 off from him, correct?
Damn,
yeah.
I almost got 50. Wait, no, that's not 50%.
You almost got 4 of them exactly right. You got 3 of them exactly correct.
I'm like 35%.
Yes, exactly, which is wild. You got Tom Brady right, because you knew who Tom Brady was?
It was a name that I heard, yeah, but I didn't know how good that.
And I can't
was.
believe he's going to the fucking Super Bowl again. This is just ridiculous. I am like, at this point, I'm impressed. You know, it's funny to me because he's on the NFC side and not the AFC side, and he's not fucking me over. So, whatever. I can get on board with it. Let's get into the news, though. Oh, real quick, another thing. The reason I wanted to bring up. So next week we're gonna talk about Tiger Woods in this fucking documentary. If you're at home and you haven't seen it yet, it's on HBO, 2 parts. Bill Burr makes an appearance in it. It's pretty good. It's in fact fantastic. So pleased to be watching that so that you can join us in the discussion for next week.
Also, wait, real quick. So
yeah.
Does that mean because he's number 2, I legitimately don't know, are you also in the Super Bowl then, Bills?
No, the Bills were eliminated from the AFC Championship this past week. In fact, I should bring that up because I haven't been able to discuss that yet. The Bills lost to the Kansas City Chiefs this past weekend, so the Kansas City Chiefs play Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. Now, typically in years past, Enny, Tom Brady was on our side of the fence in our division, and we would have had to face him to get to the Super Bowl. Do you know what I'm saying? So now he's in the other division now since he signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So this was the first time we didn't have to even see him. This is the first time he played in the NFC in the playoffs. And now he has as many NFC championships as Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees. It's pretty hilarious. But nevertheless, the Bills are not in the Super Bowl. And I wanted to thank so many people who reached out to me, knowing I'm a Bills fan, and saying their condolences and things like that. I'm not sad about it. This is further than they have gotten since I was a child. I am so excited for the future, and I was playing with house money. We were in the AFC Championship game. That's never happened in my adult life, and I couldn't believe I was seeing it with my own eyes. So I wasn't sad that we lost, but I want to thank you for all your kind words. So many of you reached out in DMs, tweets, things like that, and I'm very thankful that you did that. But yes, let's move on to some news, shall we? That's right. Tom Cruise back in the news again. He's going to start a movie eventually where he's just fighting COVID, I think. Where it's Tom Cruise versus COVID. And it's going to be like COVID impossible. But Tom Cruise, he's bought robots now to enforce COVID safety on his film set. This coming to us from, we were talking about the reporters before. I'm just going to make all of you out there reporters. How's that sound? That's basically what these giant conglomerates do. They're like, oh, you want to work for no money? Here's a job. And they just let them do it. So I'm just going to say you're all reporters. People who email articles, you're a reporter for the Josh Potter Show. So RJ, thank you so much for all your hard work in sending this in. Tom Cruise reportedly buys robots to enforce COVID safety on film set. After he was recorded shouting at the film set employees for breaking COVID-19 restrictions, Tom Cruise reportedly purchased 2 robots designed to patrol the set of Mission Impossible 7 when it resumes film next week. What the fuck are we talking about with like what kind of... I didn't know robots existed enough that we could hire them to patrol things. That seems a little like the future is now and a little bit scary.
I think the most complex one that I've seen was at the Irvine Spectrum, and it just walks around and has like a smile on its face.
Wait,
just say
what?
hi to it. You haven't seen that?
I've been to the Irvine Spectrum. That's where the Irvine Improv is when it was open. But why? For security?
Yeah, I believe that it checks for movement after hours, and then on... like while it's open, I think you can, like, it just smiles and kind of...
So what if something
around.
bad happens? What does it do? Alert somebody, or does it have a gun?
No.
Like, does it have a laser? It's like, don't go there. You know what I mean?
I think that it's just like it's just a glorified alarm system where it's like checking for, movement in the Spectrum, because the Spectrum's an outdoor mall. They don't have like, motion detectors that are outside, so I think that's their solution.
And does it have an element to it where it's like a scarecrow, where it's like if a robber sees like just some guy like walking around, you know what I mean? Like,
it's probably a deterrent. Like, it has a glow, so you see it and you're like, is that gonna see me?
Well,
maybe. Listen
to what Tom Cruise has here. The robots, which can reportedly administer on-the-spot COVID-19 tests. On the spot. Bzz, you are negative.
It comes out and sticks a swab in your nose.
It puts it in your ass probably with these new ones. The Chinese ones, you see these? Anal swabs? Why weren't we doing those from jump? We're putting them in our nose. We could have been putting them in our ass the whole time. It's fucked up. We're missing out on the fun. We had to do all these dumb nose swabs. I could have been having my butt swab this whole fucking time. I could have got my COVID test and off at the same time. Shit. Fucking leave it to the Chinese. They figure out all the cool shit. Nevertheless, it seems that it gives an immediate fucking COVID test, which is insane. And then it executes you if you're positive. No, I'm just kidding. It's unclear what kind of robots they are, but the Sun cites a source who describes them as really sophisticated and rather intimidating. It's like the Terminator, only not as violent. Not as violent, apparently. So that means that insinuates that there is some violence involved with them. Tom is so serious about making sure the shoot isn't shut down.
We are not shutting this movie down!
That he splashed out on these robots, as he can't be everywhere to ensure people. So Tom Cruise is like, I can't have my eyes on all the people all the time, so I'm going to hire robots to follow them. That's so wild. I mean, if they were like a Roomba that just kind of like went around and was like, you're safe, that's different. But these things are like Terminator looking shits. He didn't need to go that kind of overboard with it. He could have just had a camera or something. Yes, that rant came out last month may have been a bit over the top, but he was right, and those who saw the story sympathize with him. I don't know about all that. Cruise isn't the only person employing COVID-19 testing robots in Hollywood. CBS has reportedly expressed interest in renting or purchasing lab-certified disinfection bots used more than 500 hospitals worldwide. The Sun's report doesn't clarify what kind of robots Cruise has acquired, but judging from the source's comments, it's a step or two beyond the stationary machine. Mission Impossible 7 is planning on wrapping up production in the United Kingdom this week before heading to Dubai to continue its production. So yeah, Tom Cruise just has access to COVID testing robots. You know who else has access? We talked about a little earlier. I don't know if you asked me right now about the stock market. I think I could learn more about that and tell you more about that just based off of the past few days' activity than I could tell you about how to acquire a vaccine. Because I don't know how the fuck that's being done. You know, they're just giving them to frontline workers and old people. And apparently, like, there's an age threshold. So it's like, I don't know. I heard my dad say he's like above 60 or whatever. He's like, I can get it in April or something like that. I don't know. So when will I get the vaccine? I have no idea. I think everyone's going to forget about COVID by the time they get around to me. They're going to be like, oh, you didn't get it? Ah, it's fine. It's over anyway. You know what I mean? Like, that's how low I am on the totem pole. And it's wild who is getting the vaccine. I don't know how, because like I said, we have frontline workers, we have old people, and now a gentleman who just got it administered today, and it made it to the news, is O.J. Simpson. Ta-da! Hello, Twitter world. It's me, O.J., just getting my vaccination before 90% of you out there. Yeah, how does that happen? Someone explain it to me. It's can we see how old? Can you Google real quick how old OJ is? Like, does he fit in the age group? Perhaps someone more aware. I don't know. Chris is back there, right? Does he know what's going on with the? He seems educated on the vaccine. Like, why would OJ just get it just because of his age?
It's just me and Zola, but let me see how old he is. I'm not 100%.
Yeah,
it could be. I imagine it would be because of that. Because I'm pretty sure even celebrities haven't talked about just getting it, right?
Well, probably because they don't want to be like, that's what I wondered. I'm wondering if celebrities and rich people are getting it and they're just kind of being hush about it because they don't want people to know that they had access to it.
Oh my God, he's 73 years old.
Yeah, he's old as fuck, but he looks great, right?
I thought he was like 50.
Right?
Oh my God.
No, man, he played in the NFL like 50 years ago.
I had no idea.
Yeah, man, it's wild. I knew he was old, but like 73, it's still, he is a healthy, great looking man. Like, it's almost like he doesn't have a worry in the world. You know, like he doesn't have anything kind of holding him down and he doesn't have any ill thoughts on his mind. It's almost like he just slashed away all the negativity. And the man went to jail. He looked like shit when he was in jail. But since he's been out, he's been on Twitter. He's golfing every day. The guy looks great. So, fuck, shit. Good job, OJ. But yeah, he got the vaccine. I think that's wild. I don't know how to get it. I don't know who's allowed to get it. I just thought that was insane. So, like, if you're a nurse out there and you're like, I haven't gotten it yet at my hospital, well, guess what? OJ's got it. So that's the state of our country. And, with all the pandemic and things like that, it's not so foreign or weird for women to be doing OnlyFans. And we are very pro-sex worker on this program, as you know, myself being a sex worker. Myself, I am 100% supportive of sex work. I champion the sex worker, and that is why I am calling for a boycott on a particular fast food chain right now. This woman, Lana Wells, was in the bathroom doing her hair and makeup when she received a call that she won't soon forget. It says, "Hey, I just want to let you know that your job here is done. You just lost your life, bud. And I'm very sorry to have to let you go," the voice on the other line said. When she asked what she had done wrong, the person claimed that a customer had lodged a formal complaint that there was a woman working the drive-thru who was doing internet porn. And as a God-fearing Christian, they didn't feel comfortable giving the establishment their business. It was 7:30 a.m., just 30 minutes before she was supposed to clock in, and Wells was in a state of shock. She was just fired from her local Taco Bell after less than a week on the job, in the middle of a deadly pandemic, for being a sex worker. They couldn't have given me a heads up or waited until I got there to say something. I just started bawling. I don't know if it was because I was upset or if I was ticked or a little bit of both. She still hasn't returned to her Taco Bell uniform. Maybe she can make some content in that. Little Diablo sauce, huh? But what kind of fucking... Isn't that... The alarming part to me was that this woman was like, I am a God-fearing Christian, and I recognized that woman through the window of a drive-thru as a porn star from OnlyFans. Like, listen, I'm on OnlyFans a lot. There are women that I see every day on there, inside and out, more or less, if you catch my drift. If they walked in this room, I don't know that I would be like, oh, that's you from Only. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm on there all the time, and I hate God. So, like, I don't understand how this person is really, really familiar with this OnlyFans girl, Lana Wells. It must have been something like, I even went as deep to think that this was a scorn person. Sometimes you write, like, they get the DMs going in OnlyFans. Do you fuck with OnlyFans at all, Enny? You don't even seem like a guy. I'm more of a simp than you.
Yeah, no, I don't. I just can't bring it in me to pay for it. It feels so weird to me. Like
That's what I mean. I'm a champion of the simp. I like paying for it because I feel like it's giving them the respect that I'm not going to give them otherwise. You know what I mean?
that's some way to put it. Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely champion it though. Like I'll never use simp as a derogatory term. I think a lot of people that could fit the term simp, they want to be there. They enjoy that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I
that
think people
role.
take it like cuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like cuck has been turned into a derogatory term. I am not one, but I understand the fetish. You know, a guy wants to watch his wife, you know, get railed by a couple of the
inner city blacks.
you know, more power to him. I don't know why we have to demonish, demonize him or diminish that fact, you know, or use it as a derogatory term. That's why I don't use simp as a derogatory term either. But it's just so bizarre to me that this woman recognized a woman out of context at 7:30, you know, or at some point during it through a drive-through window. It's unbelievable. And for Taco Bell to give a shit. You're Taco Bell. The sanctity of Taco Bell is like, because one woman forms a lodges a complaint, like just be like, yeah, we'll get to it, and then don't give a fuck. Because who cares? This woman's going to go around and say, guess what? All the chicks in your fucking Taco Bells are selling nudes. I hate to break it to you. Whether it's Snapchat or texting with people, especially chicks that work in Taco Bell, I'm saying are selling nudes. And some of them are doing worse shit than that. They're doing fucking meth in your parking lot or something. So I don't know where Taco Bell gets off trying to be all sanctimonious and fucking pious about sex workers. Fuck you, Taco Bell. I'm done with you. Your Crunchwrap Supreme is dog shit. All right? Yeah, I said it. I fucking went against the country on that one. I said it. It's just a flattened fucking stupid. It's overrated. Every time I've gotten it, I've been disappointed. So there, fuck you, Taco Bell. Huh. How about that, Enny?
I feel that chalupas are way too fucking expensive.
Yeah, what? Because it's got an extra shell? Fuck off.
Fuck that. They're all the Supremes now. They used to have chalupas and chalupa Supremes. Now they only got fucking chalupa Supremes.
And they got rid of the regular chalupa. And they don't have, and they got rid of the Baja Blast, right?
Wait, did they? No, I think they still got that.
Okay, well
I think
that's
they
pretty
forgot
good. The
that.
Baja Blast is pretty dope.
Yeah, the Baja Blast is all right.
Yeah, fine. Will they get rid of the Mexican pizza?
Oh, the Mexican pizza?
You fucking scoundrels. How dare you judge sex work and you fucking get rid of the Mexican pizza? You're racist to Mexicans. You make up fake Spanish words like gordita and chalupa, and you get rid of the one thing that's real, Mexican pizza, you're fucking done. You just lost your life, bud. But I am a champ of simps, I gotta tell you. I really do. And I have, this gentleman here is the champion of simps. I think he is the simp to end all simps. King Simp, I'm going to refer to him as. Maybe this could be an award we give out sometime, you know, rather frequently as King Simp. But this man is 100% the king of all simps. Florida man killed his family after they attempted to end his relationship with the Bulgarian cam girl he funneled hundreds of thousands of dollars to. He's avoided the death penalty for 3 counts of first-degree murder. Ooh, boy, oh boy. I'm looking for it, don't worry.
You idiot woman! Idiot woman!
That one was for me.
Murder.
Yes, get your vibrators out, ladies. This guy is killing his parents because they said, you know what, I don't think you should funnel all of that money to this Bulgarian cam girl. And he said, fuck you, Mom and Dad, I love her. And he...
Murder.
His name is Grant Amato. He's 30. He lives in Chuluota. That's some foreign place. I don't know. Will instead spend life in prison without parole after Monday's verdict by the Seminole County. Oh, so this is like a place in Florida? Yeah, okay. So that's why it's a weird name. So, yeah, it's a place in Florida. I said Florida man earlier, didn't I? But he looked like he was from a Durka place, didn't he, on the screen? And we were talking and it said Chuluota, so I'm just like, I don't know, you know? But, you know, he's from Florida, so hey, whatever. So the verdict, he's going to spend life in prison, which decided after 3 hours of deliberations not to recommend the death sentence, blah, blah, blah. He shot his parents, Chad and Margaret Ann, as well as his brother Cody, at their home on January 24th following an argument about stealing the money he had sent to a webcam model. He first shot his mother as she sat at the computer desk. He then waited for his father to return home from work to shoot him too. Finally, several hours later, he shot dead his brother, who had come by the house to visit. You think between visits, or between these shootings, as people arrived home, he was on the cam with the cam girl being like, I'm taking care of it. You got the funds coming. Don't worry. I'll never leave you, baby. And she's like, squirting or some shit. She's like, okay. They don't know you're alive, bro. It sucks. God, this poor disillusioned man. But he is the king of all Sims, wouldn't you say? He's like, fuck that. I will get you. What if you're this model? Are you like happy? Are you like, wow, thank you?
I mean, this is dedication. This is nothing but dedication at its finest. How can you not be happy?
It says, for over 4 hours with the bodies of his dead mother and father in the house, the defendant waited for his brother to return home. By any definition of the word cold, these murders were cold. I think it's a crime of passion, frankly, because how dare they cut him off from his beloved Bulgarian cam girl? That is love. This is Romeo and Juliet, if you ask me. Nevertheless, though, Amato began a 60-day treatment program in Fort Lauderdale, but left before it was completed. That's because he has a sex addiction, it turns out. Turns out prior to all this, his family determined he had a sex addiction, and they sent him to treatment. I guess they were right. I guess they really nailed that one. Nevertheless, it didn't work. I guess it didn't stick. The whole therapy. Oh my God. So he began a 60-day treatment program, left it before it was completed. So yeah, it didn't work. I guess he must have left it like 3 minutes in. I mean, how fucking early did he fucking leave? Nothing stuck from it. Upon returning home, his father gave him a list of rules to follow if he wanted to continue living there. Among them was to break off contact with the Bulgarian webcam performer. Well, that was a line in the sand. When Amato continued to stay in touch with her, he was asked to leave the home. Cody, Amato's girlfriend, the brother's girlfriend, told investigators that her boyfriend feared his brother would kill everyone. Yeah, well, he got that one right. Seems like this family's pretty spot on. They're really killing it here as far as guesses. The killer had stolen 60 G's from his parents and guns from his brother and further... Oh, I'm sorry. He stole 60 G's in guns from his brother and a further 150 G's from his father, including a loan taken out in his parents' house. Or on his parents' house. So he refinanced their house and shit, took out a loan against it. How do people do this? We heard about that guy taking out a mortgage. I mean, he didn't actually do it. This guy actually did it. That's wild to me. I would have taken 1 million mortgages out of my parents' home and fucked them over if I knew how to do that. How are these idiots figuring it out? God, I would have fucked my parents over hardcore. But I'm too dumb, I guess. It's so hard to go through the grieving process when there are multiple losses and uncertainty in future. There's a surviving brother. Through all this, though, I'm a proud Amato. I don't know if you should be that. And I will rise up smarter and stronger than before. Okay. It's not about you, buddy. It's about your dead parents and your dead brother and your other brother who can't stop jerking off to cam models. It's not about you. Way to inject yourself in the story, though. If you noticed, every single one of their findings was a yes in terms of the jury's decision as a matter of pure mercy. Oh, they did the death penalty. The reason he didn't get the death penalty is because the jury decided as a matter of pure mercy. If you noticed, every single one of their findings was a yes, and the very last one was a no. It's very difficult to get 12 people to agree to impose the death penalty. It's a very difficult decision to do. What do you think about the death penalty, Enny? Would you, if you're in that jury, you would be like, yeah, fry him? Or would you be like, I don't know about if we should? He seems like he's probably just really mentally ill.
You mean like this guy specifically or the death penalty in general?
Maybe in both cases. I mean, because I can apply my logic to the death penalty from this case to a lot of things as a broad stance,
I'm usually a bad guy to ask if somebody deserves something bad happening to him because I got a pretty extreme way of thinking right or wrong. I don't know, man. I think it's tough. I don't know. I think he should have whatever consequences that are fed to him. If it is the death penalty, then sure. I don't think there's a limit as to what you should or should not be able to do to somebody.
See, I am mostly against it, I would say. And I've had complicated thoughts on this because of the fact that, let's take this particular example. This guy did heinous shit. He is obviously mentally very distraught. He's a sex addict. He has got a host of issues. And with those, they manifest themselves in violent, heinous ways. So putting him in jail for life, that's one thing. But then killing him, that starts to get into like a weird hinky thing to me, and especially because he is mentally ill. It'd be like if someone was so severely mentally ill, but they just hugged everybody all the time. Would you be like, we should just off this person? Because that's like eugenics, essentially.
Well, I thought that if he's mentally ill, that excludes him from the death penalty. Then he's just in solitary confinement, right?
It depends. It depends on what the defense, and I'm not a lawyer. I'm over here going like, well, it all depends. Like I know anything, but you have to basically go for that in the court. And I don't know that he went for that as his defense. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you have to display that or show that or prove that you are in a court of law for them to like throw it out. But I mean, he's obviously very clearly, I would venture to say most murderers who murder in cold blood are mentally ill. So that's where I kind of get a little in the weeds as far as whether or not I think the death penalty should be a thing or not. And that's my serious stance on the death penalty.
Now watch this drive.
Now watch this drive. I've been obsessed with that clip again of George W. Bush saying that because, I don't know, I've been playing golf on Twitch a lot, twitch.tv/Josh_Potter. So I just thought of like, I was thinking of funny golf videos and I'm like, that is the all-time funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. It's George W. Bush in a time, 2002, 2003, when we're just starting to get into the open mic world, or like in terms of like media being everywhere, cameras on your phone, things like that. We're just venturing into this world. And George W. Bush gives this grandiose speech as he's out on the golf course with his father about how countries need to unite against terrorism. We need to join forces and unite against all extremists so that we can live in a world of peace. He gives this grandiose speech and then he says, thank you. And he nods his head as if the cameras are then going to go, all right, we got it, and shut off. And then he tells the reporter, he goes, now watch me hit this drive. Let's hear it.
Now watch this drive.
It's so badass. It's like almost keeping it in there made me feel more patriotic when I saw it. Do you know what I mean? Like when he was like, we're going to mouth fuck the terrorists. We're going to fucking bomb them into the Stone Age. Now watch me hit this drive. I was like, fuck yeah. Like my dick got hard from that. And it's like one of those moments that people pointed to as being like a gaffe or being like careless or whatever. I thought it was cavalier and awesome. So now anytime I say anything serious, I'm just going to be like,
now watch this drive.
It's my favorite drop of all time. I've been saying that everywhere I go. I'll just say it at the end of any sentence at this point. What should we wrap up with here? Let's see. Oh, I know what I want to wrap up with. Say you died. And yeah, right?
All right.
Say you died. Now your family's got, I don't know what, I've never had to, thank the Lord, I've never had to deal with someone's passing in terms of like directly like doing the arrangements and things like that. And I don't really know what that entails. But I'd imagine you have to call up a funeral home and you have to get a casket and things like that, depending on their wishes at the end of the day. You have to call up a cemetery and get a plot. Well, in this case, the Oberlin family called up a cemetery and they wanted to get a plot. Let's see here. I'm trying to see where this fucking place is. Oh, so here we go. Deputy Daryl Semyon of the Oberlin family was diagnosed with cancer in December. In the last month and 9 days of his life, he talked with his family about the burial plans, telling them he wanted to be laid to rest at Oakland Springs Cemetery because it was close to home. It was denied to him, though, however. Apparently, when they called up to ask them about purchasing a plot of land for their deceased deputy, Daryl Semyon, they asked him, okay, but are you one of...
the inner city blacks.
Yeah, they asked them about their race because apparently this is a whites-only cemetery. They don't even want black people buried in the ground with the other white people. That's how racist they are. Like, that is about as racist as I think it can get. Don't you think? We don't even want your dead ones. You know? That's fucking nuts.
It's right before Black History Month, too. Unbelievable.
It's right, but well, actually, technically, aren't we in Black History Month right now?
As of the release of this show, yeah, we should be.
Happy Black History Month out there to all of you
The inner city blacks.
that are out there. Thank you for joining the show, and happy Black History Month. But this is fucking nuts, right? The fact that there's a whites only anything anymore is crazy, but like a cemetery, as if as if like someone would walk into that cemetery and go, there's a black person buried. How would they even know? You know?
Oh, probably right by the on the gravestone it would say Jamal Jackson. They're like, what the fuck is this?
That would probably be the I didn't want to say it. The names. We got a Vontese Burfict in there or something.
Be a dead giveaway.
Dead giveaway. Dead giveaway. But so let's hear how this played out, because it was in their bylaws that the cemetery was whites only, says the widow of Deputy Darrell. I just kind of looked at her when she said there's no coloreds allowed. When a woman says that, it's like, what year are you from?
Coloreds?
Yeah, it's like, what fucking year is this, you know? Did you forget? Is this cemetery in a time machine? She just said it blatantly with no remorse. I can't sell you a plot for your husband, says the daughter. The president of the Oakland Springs Cemetery Association, cool association, outlined the clause in their bylaws which says the right of the burial of the remains of white human beings. That's what it says. It's a cemetery contract which he dates back to the 50s. So back in the 50s, they made it a big white thing. It never came up, says Vizena. I take full responsibility for that. I've been president of this board for several years now, and I take responsibility for not reading the bylaws. So the people in the association were like, oh, that's a thing, but the person who works at that particular cemetery knew it was a thing, like made sure to enforce it for all these years, and even says things like coloreds. Like, what a fucking Looney Tune. The Semyon family says the anger they felt from racial remarks combined with the grief of losing a loved one is too much to process. There was nothing none of us could do, but we did it, says Semyon, and to be told this is like we were nothing. He was nothing. He put his life on the line for them. Then it says, everybody dies. They bleed the same. You die. You're the same color. Death has no color, so why should he be refused? Well, that's obvious. And like I mean, if you're racist, wouldn't you want to have a big ground full of dead black people? I thought that would be like right up their alley. But, you know, I don't know. I don't know what racists think. Sorry. The family says they then called around to other cemeteries, double-checking if they accepted any kind of body, whether it be white, black, or Hispanic. The Semyons say the cemetery president attempted to rectify the problem by changing the bylaws. However, they say nothing can change the fact that they were initially denied based on their skin color. I even offered them, I can't sell you one, but I can give you one of mine. He was going to just give him one of his. God bless that person, right? That's nice of them. They're like, take my fucking burial plot. I'll find a new one. That's how strongly I was about fixing this. The cemetery board members say they will try to make a decision by Thursday night to resolve the issue. They'll try. They'll be like, I don't know. We have to discuss whether or not we should allow
The inner city blacks.
to be buried here. Fucking so dumb. This is 2020 that this is happening. But all this stuff is happening in 2020. What a wild, wild day of news. And I'm sure as you're watching this, again, I mentioned we've recorded this on Friday. Today is Tuesday, and who knows where we are in terms of the economy. Either way, I hope you're safe, and I hope you're thriving in whatever capacity that you are able to thrive in, you know? I am going to leave you now and let you know that if you are thriving, I hope you purchase tickets to come see me March 21st at the West Palm Improv. You can buy those tickets on my Twitter and on my Instagram. Josh_Potter is the Instagram. J_Potter is the Twitter. So buy those tickets, please. March 21st is going to be here before you know it. And I'd love to see you at the West Palm Improv. Keep going to the merch store, which is store.ymhstudios.com. Scooping up the shirts. We're going to get the Buffalo Roach shirt restocked. The hat is up there, and so is the show shirt and the Sussel merch for
Mr. Unlimited.
so go scoop up all of that. And again, Two Bears, One Sap is going to be happening on the day of the big game. That is February 7th. We're hoping to make an appearance on that as well. So I hope to see you then, 3 p.m. Pacific. You can buy those at ymhstudios.com. Get your access to that live stream there. And so that's about it. Thank you to Zolo. Thank you to Enny. Please to be liking, reviewing, and subscribing. I can't tell you how much that helps. Please, if you already did it, do it fucking again. Please. And we will be back next week. Enny's going to watch the Tiger Woods documentary. We got some other fun stuff hopefully coming your way that I'm pumped about. And we're going to get to some listener submissions. More Josh Potter Show reporters out there. We're going to get to your stuff next week here on the Josh Potter Show. We'll see you next Tuesday. I fucked up. I played the wrong one.